Okay, good morning. Welcome to
FamilyMath1154.
Math 1154. So today we're going to continue our exploration of some different proofs of why the square root of 2 is irrational. And today we're going to talk about continued fractions. Do you remember continued fractions? We've talked about them before, but it's probably been at least a couple of years.
I think so, at least a little bit.
Okay, so let's pick a number like 13 fifths. Do you know how to write that as a continued fraction?
Okay, so you have to split the fraction first. So maybe split it into 2 plus 3 fifths.
That's right. So the first step is to split it into the integer part and the non-integer part,
Yep.
with any number.
And then you have to flip this upside down.
Okay. So 2 plus 3 fifths becomes...
2 plus 5 thirds.
Oh, except 2 plus 3 fifths and 2 plus 5 thirds are not the same number.
Yes, that's correct.
So go back to 3 fifths. So let's not erase, let's write it on the line below. 2, we have to write this as 2 plus something, equals...
Well...
How can we write this as 2 plus something, where that something involves 5 thirds?
2 plus 5. Oh, if we add 5 thirds, then we have to subtract something away.
Yeah, except we're not going to be adding. So it is just one simple step. So we're not adding and subtracting stuff. So what can I do here? And it does involve flipping. You're right. So it's 2 plus something, an expression involving 5 thirds.
1 over 5 thirds.
There you go. So it's 2 plus 1 over 5 thirds. So you flip it.
5 thirds.
And so now you have a fraction.
Yep.
And what can you say about this new fraction 5 thirds you have?
You can do the same thing, really. So you can write 5 thirds as 1 plus 2 thirds.
Okay.
And
Maybe write that over here. So now we have 2 plus 1 over.
1 over 1 plus 2 thirds.
Okay. Yeah, and the only thing is just make sure we extend that fraction bar on top long enough to make sure we know everything's underneath there. Okay.
So we can do the same thing. And write this as 1 over 3 halves. 2 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 over 3 halves.
Yeah. And since we're out of room, you can just do whatever you need to do with the 3 halves.
Okay, so 3 halves becomes 1 plus a half. And we write this as 1 over 2. So this is our...
What did we write as 1 over 2?
Or 1/2. So
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So we're actually done. So we get this. We're always looking for something, an integer plus 1 over something plus 1 over something. When we got to that 1/2, we're done. But as you saw, we're done because if you try to write it as 1 over the reciprocal, it actually stays the same.
Yep.
So that's a continued fraction for 13 fifths. So we could write it as 2 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 over 2. That's 13 fifths. Okay, so now we're going to try to do the same thing for the square root of 2, and we're going to see what happens.
Alright.